Australians have voted for green socialism. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because Australians have voted. We've had the federal election and thank you to everyone who joined me for my 4-hour live stream. It was a bit exhausting, so I've taken a few days off. But, well, the results are in. It looks like the Albanese government will be able to form government without needing to get into bed with any of the minors, hopefully. But the Greens are really the big winners. They've picked up more House of Representative seats, even here in Brisbane, potentially 2 in Brisbane. And, well, they now have 12 people in the Senate. So there definitely was a shift towards minor parties. The freedom parties have all been decimated. It's all gone to the Greens, everyone. So let's have a look and talk about a few things because, well, in some ways there's a few things that a few talking points that will be pushed by politicians and by the talking heads, and we need to arm ourselves with the correct and actual information. But anyway, let's get started. So the Labor Party are up here. We can see the Greens. They've got 2, Griffith and Melbourne. Looks like they have Ryan and potentially Brisbane as well. So Brisbane's gone hard Greens. Really has. Even where I'm living, the proportion of Greens votes has been quite high. We have a look here at let's look at the Queensland Senate results, and we can see the Greens are right up there. Liberal have 2.3 quotas. ALP has 1.7. The Greens has 0.94. And then Pauline Hanson's One Nation has 0.53. Now, regardless of what you think about Hanson, it would be a shame if we lose her from the Senate because she is one of the few advocates of men's rights in the Senate. One of the few advocates for actual, equality in the relationship between men and women when it comes to the family courts. So that would be a real shame. The Cannabis Party, it's doing really well. It's got a high vote everywhere in the country. UAP, well, they haven't gotten... They're up there, but still, guys, for all the money and time invested, it hasn't even materialised in a Senate seat here in Queensland. So those who thought Craig Kelly would be the next Prime Minister of Australia, I'm not surprised at their outcome here. Here's the thing, guys. The danger we have at the moment is that we're all exposed to social media and we're all in these potential bubbles. We can't get a wider understanding of the community around us, how our opinions may actually be in the minority if you've got a particular opinion or argument. The Liberal Democrats, they got 0.16% of a quota. So then again, for Campbell Newman, probably the best-known name the Liberal Democrats have put up in Queensland in some time, that's still not a good show, everyone. You can see here, you've got, if you're losing to the Cannabis Party, what's that saying, guys? You've got the Animal Justice Party, the Indigenous Party, you've got the Great Australian Party, and right down the bottom was the New Liberals, so they barely even made a show, which in some ways is encouraging that modern monetary theory isn't getting more of a consideration, because I'm scared what the big two will adopt. So, I put it to you, viewers, what was your reaction to this election? Now, the majority of my viewers are male, about 90%, 92%, Australian, I think, 25 above. Most of us are 35 and above. And, highly intelligent and incredibly attractive. That goes without saying. So let's have a look. This poll is run for one day. What's your reaction to the election results? 9% are surprised or shocked. To be honest, I'm a little surprised how many people voted Greens. And I truly wonder how many people actually know what they're voting for and how much of it was a protest vote, or they think they're voting for the nice, friendly party. Wait till they realise what they've voted for. Maybe this is just why people learn. You only vote Labor or Left once. 37% say it's expected. 26% say green socialism is here. And 17% said once people experience Labor, they will grow out of it. And 11% of viewers are happy. So let's take the time to have a look at some of the posts that people put on here. So, NPG, I see the root of many of society's issues as being loose monetary policy, interest rates manipulated by the central banks, and government interference into the free market. Now, I can't... Here's the thing. If this has shown us anything, here in Australia, the people are voting for more government intervention into the market. They're not voting for the free market parties. They're not voting for the parties that are advocating for more individual rights or freedoms. They're voting for parties that endorsed lockdowns, pushed for them, wanted them stronger, and want to take away your freedoms and your rights. Rather than the major party that was allowing people access to their own money to help them buy a house, they're voting for the party that wants to use state money to buy a chunk of people's houses and own them. This is where Australia is going, guys. We're heading further and further to the hard left, to the socialist left. More intervention, less freedom. And it's only subtle. It's only bit by bit, and I can't say I'm surprised that's Australia. There are other issues, but these are the ones negatively impacting most people. None of the parties address this, so I see failure as inevitable no matter who won the poison cup. So, need an extra box at the bottom of the ballot paper, commonly called none of the above. No, we're not doing that. You got to still... I mean, I voted for a minor party that I knew would never win. I'm in a pretty hardcore Labor seat, but I was hoping we could get them to 4% so they could get funding. That's what you want. You want to get it up higher so they can at least get funding because they need to put the energy to it. Now, the Liberal Party, they will go away, they will lick their wounds, and hopefully they will learn a valuable lesson from this. And people are going to experience now what it's like with Labor and what the Greens with 12 seats in the Senate, they're going to get in bed with Labor. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, have a look here. Let's look at this congratulations tweet from Adam Band. Congratulations, Albo MP. We're looking forward to working together with you. The crises facing us are urgent. Floods, fires, and people unable to afford basic costs of living. We've got to quit coal and gas. We've got to fight inequality. Let's go. Coal and gas. Let's go to the Observatory of Economic Complexity, everyone, and have a look at Australia just to get an appreciation of how much coal and gas is for our economy. It's a huge part of our economy, and I'll let that load up. But there you go. The Greens, who Labor will have to deal with to get stuff through the Senate, they want us to quit coal and gas. Okay? They want us to quit coal and gas. And I'll just sign into there and we'll go through a few more comments. Cannabis Party. Oh, where is the we're completely doomed option? I wouldn't say we're completely doomed, honestly, guys. It's going to be an interesting few years. And some people, this may be what they need to experience to remember why. You grow out of leftism, to be quite honest. Once your cost of living is going to go up. It's going to go through the roof. If they start attacking coal and gas, that's going to have a big impact on our country. We have a look here. I'm not signing up for Pro, but look at the historic data. If we have, where's coal? Where's coal? There you go. $36 billion, guys. 36 billion. Petroleum gas, 26 billion. So nearly a quarter of our exports out of Australia are coal and gas that the Greens want to kill. Look what's happened in Europe. Everyone, look what's happened in Europe. Now, you're going to hear a lot of bullshit about issues regarding subsidies to the coal mining gas industry. This quote, or this Facebook post from the Green Shirts movement here in Queensland, I think there's something we need to go through here. So, if we go down here, Labor has so far remained silent on whether it would enter the water market. Okay, that's another topic to discuss. But the Greens have also taken aim at the fuel tax credit, which farmers, timber harvesters, fishers, miners, and even tourism operators claim back on off-road fuel use. Off-road fuel use in tractors, pumps, excavators, boats, and equipment. Okay? Greens leader Adam Brandt said his party would put a stop to the massive subsidies to big coal, oil, and gas corporations over $10 billion a year and reinvest the money into clean energy transition. Now, this $10 billion a year, it's essentially what they're saying is not a subsidy. They want them to pay more tax. Okay? So these industries, which are pumping a generator or using petrol to fuel a vehicle or to help farm and make you food, Greens want to increase the cost of that and then buy imported product, which is most of what the renewable stuff is, to create more jobs overseas. So your cost of living is going to go up. Your cost of power is going to go up. Your cost of food is going to go up. Everything is going to increase. It's going to reduce our competitiveness, even though we're struggling to compete on a global scale at the moment. So isn't that awesome? This is the Greens, guys. This is the type of shit people are voting for. They don't get it. You know, the $10 billion is based on the Australian Institute's Fossil Fuel Subsidies report, which states the largest subsidy is the federal tax cut scheme, which cost the federal government $7.8 billion in 2021. The largest ATO breakdown shows $7.38 billion of fuel tax credits claimed in 1920. 891 was to farmers, 3.3 billion was to miners, and 493 was to the construction sector. So, who said more taxes, guys? That's essentially what Adam is calling for here. More taxes, and then majority of it, you know, we're not making wind turbines here in Australia. And how many solar panels are imported from China? More jobs overseas. There you go. This is the thing. Do they not realize what they're going to do? That when you look at the seats and the people that are voting in for the Greens, I remember, I mean, we've got now an architect I know in Brisbane who's got up in the Greens, and congratulations to them. But I remember being involved in a student association and hanging out with some of these students, and you can notice the class divide. This is back a decade or two ago, and they'd easily drop $100, $150 on just pizza for a bunch of kids, and I couldn't understand that. You know, as someone who was working in architectural practice as a student, this is the problem. You've got inner city people who probably haven't experienced some of the, let's say, challenges that the lower socioeconomic parts of Australia are going to experience, and the ones who are going to bear the burden of this, who are going to bear the burden of these Greens policies so people can feel good about it. And we also know, and this is from Finkel, if we were to reduce our carbon emissions on the whole world by 1.3%, what impact would that have on climate change? Nothing. Virtually nothing. Now, the reason why he was posed this question was because that is the carbon emissions of Australia. It would make no difference on the world if we go carbon neutral. Now, do the Greenies, do the people voting for these parties not even realize how many coal plants China are building and how we will make no impact? And you'll see they'll explain, oh, we need to be leaders. We need to be role models. There you go. Anyway, let's have a look. Canada's party got more votes than the Lib Dems. I can just see the dummies sitting around going, hee hee, yeah, bro, Cannabis Party's sick. Good luck, guys. I'm in another sinking ship, Europe. There's nowhere to run anywhere. I mean, I think the Lib Dems were also going to legalize cannabis. My only argument with that is if you legalize it, they're going to tax the hell out of it, guys, and it's going to get more expensive. Each to their own. I wonder how many people did that as a protest vote. There you go. I mean, this is literally a one-issue party that they voted for. That should be a lobby group. Mick is going, the drover's dog is in for the next 3 years. Herbert, von Sauerkraut. Australians are pretty thick in general. As expected, people are lazy, apathetic. 67% voter turnout and 5% informal votes. Great. There you go. Australia needs a genuine alternative to the Liberals that isn't One Nation or bloody Palmer United. Surely there is an opportunity for it, Pod says. Yes, but, I mean, one thing I'm encouraged is that we've seen a large amount of political activism. People who have never protested, never gotten involved in anything, actually step up and get politically involved. Now, I remember going to some of those freedom protests, and it was such a dispersed group of people, there was no way I could see it ever turning into a cohesive political or ideological movement. But The fact that people have stepped up and gotten involved, this is encouraging that they might start to take more of an interest. You've got a Liberal Party that's been completely decimated. If you've got conservative views and want to shift the party in that direction, now's the opportunity to try and have an influence on it. They'll be licking their wounds. You never know if that's where you want to go. So, hang on, I need to refer to my folder so I can respond properly. Tax the rich. Well, yes, that's where it's going. We've got here, Flog Team 1 had to go. Please step up Flog Team number 2. Yeah, it seems like that. I believe more independents would get up. The climate is fine. People stop the fear. That's how it is. Not surprised, to be honest. Some people need to get out of their echo chamber. And yes, that's how it is, guys. I remember talking to a lady the other day and was completely, liberal, hardcore liberal, and was completely shocked at the idea of even getting rid of super that Campbell Newman put up. The idea of people having control of their own money. So you can see here that this is why so many people are accepting of the state. I don't know how anyone can call the Liberals a right-leaning party. So, results were rigged. Voting booths only provide pencils. Yeah, it's not rigged, guys. You don't need to rig it. The media and social media can just guide people in a particular path. And look at our education system here. You don't need to rig it. Compulsory voting, there's a reason for that. I know people don't like it. But the idea is so you can't get all the dodginess in the US. We just need to get voter ID back. We need to start to show our license and have it centrally recorded so we vote, so people can't double vote. Although I can't see that happening too much in Australia. It was expected. I knew that whoever was in power through COVID would bear the brunt of the community's disfavour. I'm saddened by the lack of support for independents, though. Well, the Teal independents got in. They got in a lot. Where's the free thought and freedom advocates gone? In Australia, they haven't gone. They haven't gone anywhere. There just weren't that many of them. Sure, you had these big protests, but there were so many people that didn't go to them. So many people that didn't give a shit. So many people that were mocking them. So many people that, probably had secured civil servant jobs or businesses that weren't impacted at all, that couldn't seem to understand why someone who lost their livelihood might be pissed off at what the government is doing. That's what Australia is. There's another YouTuber I watch, another Brisbaneite, and he's given up on politics now. He doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and I don't blame him because it's so divisive. So, we've evolved from the great Australia of the 70s, 80s, and 90s into a nation of politically correct socialist cancel culture lovers. Very sad. I knew Labor would get in. Unfortunately, almost 50% of the country won it. I was expecting a bit more third-party votes, and we got that. There was nearly a 10% swing to the Greens in many seats. Trying to stay positive. Sonia's a bit unhappy. Green socialism is here, and I've never been happier with the results. So Jackson's happy. So we'll get to experience it. I don't think this is the end of the world. I don't think it's going to have impact on a lot of people. I think our cost of living will go up. I think it's going to exacerbate some of the challenges that we'll face in our day-to-day lives, and we're just going to have to learn with that. It'll be interesting to see if enough people are impacted adversely by the, environmentally driven decisions of this government, if that will actually swing voters. And the problem is you've got a lot of the people who can easily take this financial burden, but Australia's a divided society. Let's have a look. What else? Labor will accelerate inflation, and coming price increases will shock people. Very happy to finally have a PM who actually wants to govern the country and tackle the big issues Australia's facing, not just corruptly give public money to his mates. I find it funny how all these leftists, do they not realise how much corruption is in Labor and in the union movements? Haven't they seen all the illegal action by the unions against construction companies or material suppliers? Maybe they're not aware of that. Or maybe they're just ignoring that because that's for the greater good. We can have corruption and evil behaviour and criminality on our side because it's for the greater good, comrade. We need to bear it. That's where I would argue, if you want less corruption, you need less government. You need to give them less opportunity to steal money from you. And everyone's just giving money to their mates. That's politics. It's what it is. I'm happy to see 15 on the crossbench. Here's hoping that Labor can only manage a minority government. So Advanced Dad wants a minority government. I'm a bit concerned with the Teal lot. I would rather Labor have a majority and not have to deal with Teal. That's the thing, because that will drag him even further to the left. Dan's talking about ICAC, climate action. 5 million didn't vote, 70% turnout. The standard is 90. I knew a reckoning was coming. I just didn't expect the Libs to be annihilated. I want my pay rise now. Well, if you want your pay rise, David, you've got to get a better job. Okay? If you're on the minimum wage, mate, upskill. Get another job. Learn some new skills. Learn something that can earn you more money. Don't wait for this bloody long for the Labours. Uncommon sense, I put One Nation first and Greens last, but I totally understand the results outcome. Based on character, ScoMo was a dead duck, and Albo at least showed some empathy during some of Australia's worst disasters. So policies don't really matter when half of Australia was burning and the other half was underwater. And Crooked Dog, everyone has clearly forgotten how ACO intercepted bribes for New South Wales Labor candidate. Well, yeah, we have. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Richie's going, I know Heise's whole shtick is that if we want change, we must write to our representatives, vote in who we want, trust the process, etc., etc. I just think it's utterly pointless and Einstein's definition of insanity. For me, it's about creating small communities of like-minded, awakened people. Eliminate debt is the number one priority. Reduce your fiat holdings and accrue as much physical gold as possible. Keep an eye on shady shenanigans by those who claim to have power over us. Don't let it consume you. Live mindfully and just pass yourself with the docile sleepwalkers of society while bolstering your relationships with those who are aware. Networking is key and has been for our adaptability of our species. Voting makes zero difference. It's just a distraction. Now, Richie, I've replied here. I liked his idea. I think the complete defeatist attitude with voting is a bit negative. But what you want to do is you want to take these communities and networks that you form and then use that to shift control of political parties. You need to work at these things. The reason the left has so much power now is that they've had a slow march through the institutions, through the education system, and through the political parties. That's what it is, because the rest of us were actually busy working. Personally, I think parties in Australia are done. There clearly has been corruption and being on the federal ICAC, as we need to stamp out the relationships of donors and politicians. Yes, but what about the unions and the politicians, guys? How much money are we forced to pay to the unions in management fees in super, and then that gets funneled to Labor? I mean, why are people less angry about that than a property developer making a donation to someone or a business making a donation to someone? It's all bullshit, guys. This is why you need to vote for smaller government. But that's not Australia. That's an unpopular opinion. Rachel's saying, Florian, you need to, if you want your bigger channel, you need to go hardcore left. Just repeat the same old bullshit over and over again. It's kind of true, isn't it? So, I don't see an option for out of the frying pan into the fire. All-timers. This time there's no big surplus for them to throw around, and the green stupidity will be telling in the country going backwards. Expect the boats to arrive soon as well. Australia was never the lucky country. It was a hard work for country that people who didn't know about doing it tough will throw away on trying to be the biggest virtue signaling country in the world. We'll end up a third world country, especially if we join the likes of China-controlled WHO. Sunrise is going Australia's stuff. Stockholm Syndrome, KK. Australia faced challenging times before the 2019 bushfires, followed by COVID. Now Labor have to live up to election promises. Worries about exchequer expenses. Need to create more business opportunities and ensure population is controlled for a few more years to better manage quality of life for fellow Australians. Not sure how this will happen. Next 4 years will squeeze the life out of low middle income earners. As they say, go woke, go broke. But hey, you need a taste of Labor every now and then to realise why you should never vote for them. Well, there's a reason why it's been so long without Labor, guys. ScoMo wanted to retire. Timothy goes, yawn, glad it's over. Andrew's going, official AC count as Labor at 75 seats. Disappointed my fellow Australians. We have our Aussie Joe. Let's be real, Labor won because Morrison and co didn't do a good job and got caught being corrupt too many times. Opposition don't win government in Australia, governments get kicked out of office. He's right. I vote for independence. The hell with Greens, Labor and Liberal. Well, the Greens got most of the vote. Disgruntled, the climate scaremongers, brainwashed by activist media, are now driving the political agenda. Maybe a good time to buy a generator. Well, it may be. It honestly may be. We may be seeing blackouts. I'm not kidding, everyone. OMG, the Greens will control Labor in the Senate. God help us. Shut down gas control, etc. will send us broke. Yes, Blob has got it. Blob has got it. That's what they're saying. You know, that's what they're saying, guys. 9:38 a.m. already. Yesterday. That's what they're saying. Market is just to be happy 16,000 kilometres away. Don't blame me. I voted for One Nation. Comment section full of virgins and incels, Wayne Burke said. What is I'm telling about how actually most virgins are below 30. 30% of those below 30, men. Used to be 8. Completely off topic. Simon's going, life goes on. It was a bit of a washout of tools on all sides, but Labor are yet to be in the limelight. Should have an option for don't give a shit. Well, then just don't post. A tactical retreat or move to a non-communist state and vote there. Albo will F you over in a month. I said it a year ago, we don't vote for anything, we vote against. Labor just had to shut their mouth to win. Yeah, honestly. After Albo Greasy said he wanted to strengthen the WHO treaty, I was scared of what he'd do when he got in. After seeing how many groups ran that had socialist or climate cult variations on display, I no longer care. Well, this is the new global religion in a way. You've got end times prophecy coming very soon. The world will be covered in a flood. We're all going to burn because everything's getting too hot. So we just need to pay more taxes, everyone. As long as Labor does what Labor does, should be yet another boost for independence at the next election. Too many freedom parties, too many third parties, really. Not at all surprised with the outcome. 30% of the vote going to Labor and 35% to Liberal. There was no way a win for any major party. You're right. Scotty is going, my feeling Australia is over. I'm only 34 and it's done. I've seen it happen in real time. I'm sorry the dream is gone. When the leading political issue is an invisible enemy, climate change, something you can't hope to defeat even with nuclear, when we emit less than 1% of the world's carbon, it's over. The people can be programmed to believe anything. Scotty's right. It's right. We won't. Australia will not make any difference at all. We should be smart, selling all of our natural resources, all of the coal and gas, getting rid of it because it's going to be worthless in 100 years' time when we've got new technology. Shouldn't we be flooding the market with it now and then using that money to make to develop new technology? That would make sense, wouldn't it? But no, we've got to tie our hands behind our back because we want a virtue signal. So, James is an immigrant, first-time voter, very happy for a more progressive government. He'll learn. Hopefully we can trash the religious bill now too. The icing on the cake was spending $100 million and getting nothing in return. Couldn't even help his mates stay in. First-time voter, mate. Wait till you see what happens. They're just as bad as each other. So, what else do we have here? I, for one, welcome our new insects overlords. More lockdowns and less freedom. They voted for, hey, Australians are so clever. Very happy the globalists won again. The results don't add up. One Nation has lost ground. It is the highest primary vote it's ever had. That's because they ran more candidates, Dennis. They ran more candidates. We're up shit creek now in a barbed wire canoe. Shocked at how many idiots believe climate change is the biggest issue faced in the country. Unbelievable, to be honest. Well, this is why you've got inner city Brisbaneites voting Greens because that's what they believe. They probably own their house outright. They probably bought it years ago at a fraction of the price. They've got no home ownership issues. They're probably working a civil servant job or an academic job and don't have the challenges of running a business or trying to get a home with insane house prices or trying to feed a family. So, there you go, everyone. And George was surprised at the move towards climate change, thought the minor parties would do better. So let's have a talk about this. Well, there we go, everyone. We've got Labor going to win in the House of Reps. Looks like they'll have a majority. And, well, they'll be able to get anything through they want with the Greens. And the first thing the Greens are saying is to get rid of coal and gas. And we know it's going to make no difference at all on climate change. So we are literally virtue signaling as a nation. We're going to go woke and go broke. Well, I think do what Richie said. Take care of your own, prepare, and live through the next 3 years. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And I will see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. If you're a fan of the channel and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can support us financially via joining us on YouTube or Patreon, using any of our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. Or if you need architectural services, give us a call. We've done a lot of education, commercial, and resource sector work. Or call work, yeah. I better hurry. Those coal mining camp skills are going to disappear now if they're shutting them down. Maybe I can work and help people decant out of them. There's a consideration, getting all dongers as starter homes. But, you know, the not in my backyard crowd wouldn't dare let you put something like that on a house. Anyway, guys, take care. Have a great day. For those of you that are worried, don't worry. It'll all be good. It's always as bad as it seems. Well, they always seem a bit worse than they are. Hey, and at least I've got 3 years of fantastic content from the government. Isn't that awesome? I'll see you later.